currently like 2-8.
Oh no. Okay.
4-9.
Oh, okay. That's not okay. It's still pretty bad, but it could be worse. Okay.
Yeah, and I kind of felt like I wasn't sure how I felt like I was just sort of existing, and
yeah,
I didn't know what I needed to do to win games for my team. Like I knew what I could do so we didn't lose the game.
Yeah,
but I feel like there's a difference between not losing and winning.
Yeah, I think it's like one of those things that like maybe it's just it's not just a support endemic, but it definitely is something that is more unique to support, where it feels like so much of your or endemic to support rather, where it feels like you could survive, you cannot feed, you can deny enemy plays and still lose, especially in 5v5, because there's so much more responsive. It's not just opportunity. It really, let's put it this way, when there is so much opportunity to do something in Overwatch 2, because the enemy team has the same opportunity, it turns from opportunity into responsibility. So we talk about like there's more opportunity to do things in Overwatch 2. Well, yes, but which means that there's more responsibility. So you have to. Like, you have to. Like you said, it's like, I know how to not lose. I don't know how to win. Like, you have to figure that out because the other supports are. And I think that's one of the challenges that's especially unique to Lucio, because so much of his kit feels like, I could just feed here,
Yeah.
But I could also keep my team in my aura and boot people away and build beat and so on. And I think that there's definitely a time and a place where that's appropriate. But I think every Lucio review that I've had, and I've had a few actually recently, has been very much about finding playmaking opportunities. Where are they? Make them. Where are they? Make them over and over and over and over again. And that's challenging. Not only because it's about recognizing those opportunities, because that's challenging enough for any support, but because Lucio, in my opinion, is probably the most difficult to mechanically execute those opportunities. I think Lucio may be the most difficult when it comes to like mechanics slash game sense. Like a good Lucio player is like very, 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 very powerful. Maybe more so than almost any other support. Very, very, probably maybe that's a bit of a hot take, but one of the highest skill ceiling characters, I think, in the game. I think unquestionably, just for the amount of the game sense and mechanics that's required to play the character. So okay, we'll take a look. So why Lucio? How long have you been playing Lucio?
I was gonna say not long, but like nearly a year or so.
Okay.
Now.
Okay.
So I picked it up because my uni team needed it when I got back into the game.
Yeah.
And I played it for a bit. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, I'll play something else, and everything else feels like slow and boring.
Yeah.
Like I'm playing Anna, and I'm just like, I'm sat here shooting them.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like I'm doing anything.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, there's nothing like when it clicks with Lucio, there's just nothing that replaces it. I mean, you could say that about so many Overwatch heroes, but certainly with Lucio. Okay, so sounds good. And then you have just basically stuck with Lucio all the way to Grandmaster. How long have you been playing Overwatch? Period. Before,
so I think I started around season 3, season 4
of Overwatch 1 or 2.
Of Overwatch 1.
Okay.
But then I stopped around like season 19,
right?
And then didn't play until I played like an hour between that and Overwatch 2.
Got it. Okay.
I've been playing Overwatch 2 since it came out pretty much.
Sure. Okay, so you're just kind of like rejoined the crew when everyone was building up hyper on Overwatch 2. And then hop in the Lucio train. What did you play before the Lucio train?
I would be honest, I was sort of all over the place. When I got back into Overwatch 2, I played a lot of Anna.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense. So just historically a little more support. Okay, sounds good. Alrighty. What do you hope to get out of the session? I would like a better understanding of what I need to do to create wins. Well, okay. You could get boosted. That's always an opportunity. Remember, don't put the cart before the horse. What do you need to better understand what I need to do to create value? Outplay the enemy support. Let's focus on that. I know I'm playing semantics with you, but yeah, okay. Overwatch, 3 to 4 hours per day, 4 to 6 times per week. How is that time spent? Is that all rank?
Mostly, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Like,
How is
it's
that
gone up
usually split up then?
recently. Um, Usually I get on do like a quick play game, um,
Sure.
because I feel like it's the length of like like I could play deathmatch, but I
Mm.
think I have for like 2 or 3 to feel like
Yeah.
for me my mouse feels very heavy until like
Yep.
20, 30 minutes in.
Yep.
So I like, and especially on Lucio when you have to like turn around and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so I play quick play to mechanics and I just feed my brains out because that's very fun.
Sure. Sure. So
And then
why quick play over deathmatch though? Because you said, oh, I'd have to play 2 or 3, but why is that a problem?
uh it just I feel like I get in a situation where I play 2 or 3 death matches and then I just play
Mhm.
death matches for like that's for like I play like 20 death matches and then I'm like it's too late, I need to go to bed.
It's addictive. Okay. Okay. I don't know. I mean, I might
I think
might
most
evaluate your discipline a little bit there because I think
yeah,
deathmatch is freaking amazing for Lucio. You know.
yeah, it's not necessarily addictive, it's more for me it's like I get I sort of hype myself up in queues and like
Mm.
I stress myself out. So I like it's that ability to just click it and go, I'm going in, I'm practically
Right.
doing this.
Right.
And like
So it's like it like you get stuck playing deathmatch. You get stuck. Let's put it this way: you get stuck avoiding competitive when you play deathmatch.
yeah, and I focus, oh my mechanic's just not quite good enough yet. Oh, it's not quite there. It's
Right. 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 Again, it's kind of like it's a different variation of the same kind of an issue, though, where it's like it's something that's valuable for you, but the way that you're approaching it, the way that you're thinking about it, is making it a negative thing, which means that you're missing out on the potential value that playing deathmatch provides. So, I have a recommendation to try to work at. I would really try to set a timer 20 minutes,
mm,
however long you need, and do not let yourself dictate when you're ready. When the timer goes off, you're done. You go in right now.
okay.
And you play try hard free for all, right?
Yes. If
Yes.
if there's a lobby
If there's
available,
available. Yeah, yeah. If you're in Europe, so like there's more likely to be a lobby, so that's nice at least. But I don't know, mate. I would try it. I would really try to see if you can set timers, be like, this is it, we're done. I'm gonna go in. Just try it. If it absolutely destroys your mental, then maybe lay off a little bit, try a different strategy. But I hate to leave that to the side. You know what I'm saying? Just because right now you're not quite, it doesn't feel super comfortable for you. Try and make it comfortable.
yeah.
Let's put it that way. Just try. Just try. If it doesn't work, that's fine. Go back to what was most comfortable with. It's not like it's going to make or break your top 500 goals, but it would be a very important cog in that piece. So try.
Yeah.
And then another thing as well, which I ask in every review: do you take breaks at all during your grind sessions?
Yes and no.
Okay. When it's
Um
yes, what does it look like?
so I normally because of 10-minute queues I get up and drink water and stuff.
Mhm.
Um and I say kind of as well because sometimes I'll be like I've lost like the energy to queue Lucio after like maybe five like I've trying and so I'll just like queue tank for a game or two and
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
not think and just sort of
Sure.
semi feed on Reinhardt and then come
Okay.
back.
Sure. Sure. Again, I think so much of this is like depends on what feels best for you, of course. But I do think that like ultimately, I think taking short breaks between cues, kind of like what you're doing right now, a little bit, but doing that consistently and doing that on purpose is important.
Mhm.
Keep your energy high, keep your focus high, remind yourself of what you need to be working on, and then go back in and do it again. Really important. I would consider to continue to do that and even emphasize it a little bit more, if that makes any sense. And then if you feel like, hey, I need that break to go do a little bit of tank, that's fine too. Like the way to look at it is like, um, I think the way to think about it is that you you're in college, right? Or university, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And you have about 7 hours of sleep a night per average,
yeah.
but you're chronically sleep deprived. I hear. So
I see
you
that.
know, so basically, your currency. Oh, actually, and here's another question: how often do you scrimmage?
Uh, it's been a while,
Okay,
but
so that's all
recently
we
it's been
needed
like
to know.
2 or 3 a week.
2 or 3 a week. Okay. 2 or 3 a week. So
Not
your
really.
currency. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Not with the uni team, with the other teams, but
Got it. Okay. So what I would say is going back, say it one more time. Your currency for training is like 3 hours a day.
Mhm.
And that sounds probably a little bit lower, but it is 3 hours per day. So that your mileage may vary. Like that's the average person with all the things that you've told me. That's the average person going to be about 3 hours per day. You might be a little bit less. You might be a little bit more. I don't know. But what that means is that you have only about 3 hours of focus practice per day because you're in university, because you're scrimmaging, because you're not getting as much sleep. So how do you want to spend that time? How do you want to spend that time, right? So that's kind of a question you have to ask yourself. The obvious answer is just like, I need to grind Lucio, right? But I'm actually encouraging you to, if you're like 2 or 2.5 hours into your rank grind, you're feeling like a little bit tired, and like I feel like kind of feeling kind of burned out, Lucio, I feel like kind of queuing tank. Well, duh. your meter's almost empty, right?
Yeah.
Like you have trained, if you've been training correctly, you've been training hard, intense, full focus for 8, 9, 10 games. Yeah. You did your job. Nice job. Call it. You don't need to play more. You don't feel like you need to grind more. You've done more than enough. Now, if you were 3 games in and you felt like that, then we might have a problem, but you're not. You're 2 hours in, right? Yeah. So I want you to kind of keep that ballpark number in your brain, and like the death match, consider if that's how it works, what works best for you. I want you to be a better manager of your time and a better manager of your intensity at the same time.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That does make sense, yeah.
Okay. Now, obviously, if you have a scrimmage that day, that might mean that you have to play a little bit, you play a little bit less ranked. Maybe play like 30, 45 minutes, an hour to warm up, right? And then you go into ranked. And then when scrim, excuse me. And when scrimmage is done, you're done. Or if you want to play more ranked after that, you're only focusing on mechanics. You're on an alt account, inting your brains out, right? Or you're just playing deathmatch with a podcast going on, just chilling, right? Or you're alting playing Reinhardt with friends, or you're playing quick play with friends or whatever. Fine. But you only have so much currency, and you can do a lot with 2 to 3 hours. You can absolutely hit top 500 with that amount of time, if that time is spent wisely and you're focused during that time. Does that make sense?
It does, yes.
Okay. 3 to 4 hours per day. Take the breaks, full intensity, and then call it there. 4 to 6 times per week is fine. Aiming for high GM top 500. Long term, this may sound weird, but I want to be the sort of player where the other team asks me not to play Lucio, if that makes sense. It makes total sense. Intimidation. Yeah. I get it. All right. What do you feel is holding you back from improving? Mechanics, partially. We already talked a little bit about that with Deathmatch. Yes. Though mostly understanding, especially what I should be thinking about during the game. Makes sense. 7 hours of sleep per night on average. You could probably guess what I'll have to say about that. So I will let the unspoken Spilo fill your head with his 7.5 hours of sleep would be the make or break for you. But it is what it is. Just keep that in mind. Little improvements. Doesn't need to be a New Year's resolution. It doesn't need to be 8.5 hours. It doesn't even need to be 7.5 hours consistently. It just needs to be a little bit better. That's all. Yeah. I say that I'm not going to say anything, and then I proceed to say something about it. So screw me, man. Okay. Do you have any other questions or anything else you want to go over?
Not along those lines.
Okay. You go ahead.
Only questions are about like gameplay and stuff.
Okay. Well, shoot me the code. Is it the same code here? Do you want us to look at?
Yeah. I think that's a good one.
If you have another code, yeah. Okay, actually, let's just do this one. I was gonna say if you have another code. No. I was gonna say like maybe we like do another code, because then we could, if the codes get wiped, then we can go back, and because I already have this code recorded, but I actually think we're probably okay. So let's just roll with it. Okay, so gameplay questions. Let's start with that.
I feel comfortable in like playing in Brawl and Brawl mirrors and stuff on Lucio.
Of course.
Especially because there's not a lot of pressure on me in those comps. So I can sort of meme around as much as I want.
Yep.
And there's a lot more focusing on, like, I can focus on when I'm speeding, when I'm healing, and who I'm helping and stuff. But especially in like dive or dive mirrors, when I'm trying also to not die.
Yes.
When I'm like the squishy target, I get kind of lost, and I feel like I'm spending the entire game just running away.
Right.
And I'm not sure how I play that necessarily.
Sure. Is there any of that in this here? Because I'm seeing Rhine, but do they pivot to any sort of dive pressure?
So I think we demolished them a bit on Rhine, and they very quickly switched to Winston.
Okay. Sounds good.
And the Winston we struggle a bit with it.
Sounds good. So what I can do is I can give you the paper answer, right? And then we can look at some actual gameplay. The paper answer is that basically Lucio is like you crucially need to be trying to mark off angles as much as you possibly can. And the thing that makes Lucio unique is that your aura is not Inspire, right? It's not quite as good as Inspire because you got to pivot between speed and heal, and it's not quite as big as Inspire compared to Brigitte, right? But what you do have is you have a lot of survivability. And you also have a lot of flexibility with how you can position, more so than Brigitte. So basically, your entire job is to control space, control angles, mark DPS, mark flankers, peel when and where you can. And this is the key thing. Don't freaking die. Yeah. Don't freaking die. A Brig sometimes, if she plays things well, can still die. A Lucio should almost never die. And that's probably where something like wall riding or positioning or knowing who and how to mark is probably the challenge there. There's a lot more details involved in there. We'll look at that with the gameplay, but yeah, that's the general consensus. And that kind of goes like what you're saying about the brawl, where it's like, oh, I feel comfortable in brawl mirrors because there's less pressure on me. You need to learn to embrace pressure a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Not because, we need to take the pain and, just take it and grit your teeth and whatever, but also because pressure is a double-edged sword. It cuts, but it also cuts the enemy team too. Anytime where the pressure is on you, the pressure is also an opportunity for you to be the hero.
I see, yeah.
You talk about I want to be the guy where they ask me not to play Lucio. When you're playing Lucio and dive, you have that opportunity to be that guy. Mm-hmm. You play Lucio and brawl, you can be that guy, of course, but it's not near as flashy. So embrace it. Yeah. You play Lucio into snipers, right? God forbid, but Widowmaker in the enemy team, oh gosh, they have blink on Lucio. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you could just freaking die, but that's like you can't expect yourself to be that guy, if you're not willing to put yourself under that sort of pressure to put you into that mold, right? So, yeah. And the thing is, it's like you can't be afraid of failing along the way, falling underneath the weight, because it's unavoidable, it's inevitable, right? You're going to fail under that pressure. Oh, maybe even the majority of the time, right? But you will learn, you will adapt, you'll grow, you'll improve. You might drop the masters or below. Like, where are you at right now, rank wise?
Technically, I'm still GM5, but I'm in Masters 1. Guys.
Yeah, you might drop even lower than Masters 1. Who cares? It's not like you can't get it back again, right? Especially in the year of our Lord 2024. It's pretty. They sniff out quote unquote Smurfs pretty fast. So if you drop pretty low because you're limit testing and figure things out, you'll bounce right back. Don't worry about it. Yeah. If your ego has to be willing to take a hit if you want to be that guy.
It's like I tried to solo queue on another account that was like I had that as part of the time, because I was only duo queuing with like GM1 players on my main because they were my friends. And I was like, can I do GM by myself? And so I went back and I just didn't lose until Masters, which was a confident boost.
Yeah, of course. You have that there. Like there's talent and there's skill there. So, when you hit not another brick wall, but you hit another hump that you got to figure out a way to figure it out, like whether it's this dive matchup or whatever, you can do it. You can do it. Just don't run away or avoid or get scared of that pressure, because that is exactly what you need. Those challenges are what molds you. The brawl mirror, Lucio, is not going to necessarily make you a better Lucio. In fact, it's hard for a lot of people when they're not under a lot of pressure, because they have to almost self-impose responsibility and pressure instead of it just being external on you. It's easier to adapt to external pressure than it is internal pressure, because internal pressure, you have to be disciplined. You have to keep yourself focused. But if you're playing a dive, you're not going to have to try to keep yourself focused. There's going to be people freaking killing you right off the bat. So, okay, let's keep going. Any other questions?
Not entirely. Not the moment.
Okay. If they come up, let me know. So, let's talk about this. Why are you here?
I was trying to play with the Genji at this point.
Love it. Controlling an off angle, right? Assisting your DPS.
I went with him. Yeah.
Well, maybe. But when you think about like what makes Lucio unique, what comes up?
His movement.
Okay. Survivability, right? What else?
He's for me, he's quite a good jeweler, I think.
Yep. So let's ask you a question here. Could you have stopped this?
Probably not.
So why are you here?
At that point. I'm here to stop it, which
right, of course. But could you stop it? Right? No. So
no.
Why are you here? It's a passive aggressive question.
Yeah.
Right? You get what I'm saying, though, right? Now
Yeah.
I understand. There's like, oh, I'm going to go back and help my Genji, but you know what? You could be here. You could be going for a rollout here. If you're tracer, you could be helping your tracer right here.
Yeah.
You know, if you see this opportunity here, and you could either go in for something here, like you could trade right here. This you boop this guy in, he's dead.
Yeah, he does that.
You know, something to consider. It's not that like enabling your tank is bad, but at some point in time, you have to look at this and be like, am I really going to be able to help my tank? If not, where can I get value elsewhere? Mm-hmm. That to me is like textbook Lucio. Like the question that you have to ask yourself every fight is, where can my help be useful? Even if it's just baiting attention like so. Like here, this is useful, right? Your Life Weaver needed you. In fact, you should have saved his life if you were a little bit better, a little bit faster with it, right? Good. What's the next target? The Symmetra turrets. Excellent. That's okay. Find the next target. Find the next target. Good. There's the Winston.
I end up switching to helping my life with a lot here and not really doing much else. I don't know if that's.
So you swapped to what?
So I end up the thing I didn't know what I was doing in this game is I end up babysitting my life with a lot.
Sure.
I don't know if that's too passive or.
Do you think that he needs your help?
Probably not.
Kind of unsure, right? Kind of unsure. So let me ask you a question. Does he need your help right now?
No.
No, why?
Because he's not under any pressure at all. And if the Winston tried to jump him, he just leaves.
Right. So the thing is, it's like you're like, well, he's not under any pressure at all, but you don't know that until it happens, right? So you have to, you can't be like Brig packing him as he's getting jumped. You have to be there, right, as Lucio.
Yeah.
So the thing with Lucio that makes him challenging is that like you have to know where the pressure is going to be before it happens. So again, I ask you, how do you know that your Life Weaver is safe right now?
He has always cooldowns and he has cover hit.
Yeah.
So like the Winston jumps him, there's no follow.
Well, let me stop you right there. Can the Winston even jump him? You see the distance here?
Winston just, yeah.
You can't reach him. You can't reach him. So this is where if I'm coaching the Winston, I'm talking about like, let's soft dive the Genji or, whatever, all that kind of nonsense, right? So the question is why are you sitting on the Life Weaver when the Winston can't even reach the Life Weaver?
Yeah.
So this is why this is very important, because you know what's going to happen? If you're not playing with your Genji right now or with your Tracer, guess what? That Winston is going to be able to soft dive the Genji, Tracer, whatever. And then he's going to be able to soft dive or actually hard dive your Life Weaver successfully. Mm-hmm. So what you do is you prevent the Winston from even setting up to get your Life Weaver in the first place. Or the Sojourn or the Reaper or whatever else. You basically, the idea is that you're putting out pressure right now to stop that dive from ever being a threat. Let's say you fail. Oh no, we messed up. The Winston is close. The Reaper is close. Then you reposition with your Life Weaver. You see what I'm saying?
See what you mean,
yeah. Okay. So I want you to, when your guy's under threat, ask yourself, who's under threat right now? Is it my Life Weaver? No. Who's under threat right now? Doom. Genji. Tracer. Everybody but Life Weaver. And you're not there to help them. So that means they're going to lose their duels potentially, and then your Life Weaver is going to be under threat. So that's the thing with Lucio. Proactive action to help your DPS and tanks on off angles and so on. If you're able to do that successfully, you may not even need to peel your backline. Now, there's obvious exceptions. Let's say there's a Sombra, a Tracer, a Wrecking Ball. Are those guys constant threats? Yes. Yes. You can't stop the Sombra from going to your backline. You can't stop the Wrecking Ball from being a threat to your Life Weaver. So then where do you play, right?
Yeah, probably
right?
Near the Life Weaver.
Probably near the Life Weaver, right? Because they're already constantly staged. Okay, let's keep going here. So here it's like, it's not just the lack of proactivity here. It's the lack of, if you want to use the term, peel for your tanks and DPS. Because those are the guys that are under threat right now. Like right here, again, you really don't need to worry about your Life Weaver here, right? Because you're even turning back here a little bit for the monkey. But it's actually the monkey's jumping you, right? Your Life Weaver is like, your Life Weaver's in Guam, right? You're totally fine here, so. Then you seen Bubble? Go in and help. Yes, good. Keep the pressure up. With Lucio, there's just no limit to the things that you can do, the things that you can impact, right? See, this positioning is good, right? Right? Why? Because what support do you know that could play this far forward with their DPS and supports and do so safely? Kiriko, maybe, right? Maybe, but yeah, this is great. There's Winston Bubble. There's Winston Jump. Again, Life Weavers, you don't even need to babysit Life Weaver. Now, I love this. Why are you on the Sojourn here?
She has no help.
She has no help? Why else?
She has a very nice off angle. Like
that's it, right there. Exactly. So this is not just an opportunity. This is a responsibility. Remember those words we talked about at the beginning? If you don't do something here, that Sojourn will kill somebody. Stop. Your Life Weaver is not in trouble. Stay on that. She cannot stay here. She cannot stay here, right? You cannot let her stay here. You see what I'm saying? So you're back here peeling off your Life Weaver who's totally fine. You needed to be on that Sojourn, right?
So, yeah.
Now, say he's totally fine. He was totally fine. But then they were able to close the distance. And the irony here is that actually, like, this is when you would actually have a pretty good opportunity to peel your Life Weaver. And you're not. Now, I will say I don't mind it as long as you actually kill their Life Weaver. So if you abandon your backline, but you kill their backline, it's all right. So you coach yourself here. What should you have done at this point in time? Oh my goodness gracious. What should you have done right here? Sojourn's dead. Now what?
So, their Life Weaver is beneath me, I think, right?
Mm-hmm. It's right there. Yep.
I still think like just diving their Life Weaver and
sure. Yeah, I would agree.
I don't think I make it in time to really help Life Weaver too much.
Yep, I'd agree.
But I can.
So commit. Don't be a chicken. Get him. You have your amp. Go get him. And here it's just a kind of a question of wall riding. Like if you're able to stay up along this boat here, you're probably fine. Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going here. Any questions so far?
No, it's just
careful with the random amps. Not totally random, but it's always a question of opportunity cost. Could there be value found elsewhere? This fight's lost. I don't think you misplayed this one too badly, though. Amp for sustain. It's fine. Go help your Genji. Get him. Get him. Uh-oh. Just so this is just where like a little bit of a, let's put it this way. If this is Funny Astro, I know it's an unfair comparison here, but bear with me. Funny Astro doesn't die here.
No.
Funny Astro doesn't drop off the wall and then right off this direction. I mean, the big thing is that you just fell off the wall more so than anything else, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Good. I would be staying in Heal Song here. Are you moving?
No.
So heal.
Yeah.
Especially when you're so close to beat. Now, this is funny because you're not taking really much offensive proactivity here. Why?
What? To be honest, I'm scared.
Sure, that's a fair answer. Remember when we talked about this here when I said, why the frick are you peeling a Life Weaver when the Winston has used his bubble over here? But look at the situation now. Is this Winston a threat to your Life Weaver?
Yes.
Yes, he's closer. He's much closer. They have defender's advantage. Like, look, this is scary, right? So guess what? You're required. Now you could ask yourself, how did I actually do it peeling here? Seems okay, right? The major thing there is that you didn't get beat for your Life Weaver. I think your major mistake here is I don't think you 100% knew where your Life Weaver was. The reason why that happens is because they actually flank Lucio. See this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But your idea to peel your Weaver here was good. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Just didn't do it well. It's kind of funny here. You do these things without thinking. Like, you peeled off your Weaver. You hear them and falling back here, and you automatically leave your Life Weaver. And why? Why was that okay?
Because there's nothing like pressure on her.
Right. Everything has fallen back, so then your attention immediately turns to the more offensive to go mark the Tracer on point. Which is good. In fact, here, you should have been way braver. I want way more you're way too scared here. You have your amp, you're with your Tracer, you're on point, you're in front of your Life Weaver. Why are you running here? Shoot her in the freaking head.
But yeah.
You know? You might not kill her, but you shouldn't die to her. So that's where I think maybe we talk about you being scared. I can see it there. It's not about being defensive or whatever is bad. It's about when you have an advantage and you still are scared, that's when there's a problem.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense, yeah.
Okay. So what do you think so far? We've really put this under the microscope, right? There's been a lot of details. So what do you think so far?
I think it's about like, I think the main thing for me like is that scared thing of just
yes
I'll be fine in most cases.
Yes exactly. Okay.
Like I'm worried about getting one clipped, but then
right. Well, it's crucially you're being scared to take some sort of action when you are safe to or safe enough, right? There's a reward for the risk or so on, right? Okay. What else? What else do you need to practice? So far, let's not draw any crazy conclusions here, but what are some things that we're taking a look at?
Probably, I don't think the peel has been entirely great.
Why? What's been wrong with the peel? Because it's been almost too much peel and not enough peel at the same time. What's been the theme between the two?
I think losing track of not seeing where the pressure is going.
Yes, not seeing who's actually under threat right now, right? Peeling a Life Weaver that's a million miles away and then failing to peel a Life Weaver who was under desperate threat, right? Okay. And then anything else? Mechanics, amps, speed versus heal. Some details thrown in there as well, right? Yeah. Stay on the wall. Don't amp, just amp. Stay on heals if you're not moving. Little details, right? But okay. Any questions so far?
Not many, no.
Okay, let's keep going then. It depresses me to see Life Weaver Lucio dive. Such a waste. Life Weaver dives I love Lucio dive actually. I think Lucio dive is super fun. I wish we saw more Lucio dive rather than just Brig, you know?
Yeah. It's come for cool times because when I've been playing the scrims and stuff.
Yeah.
My Brig into like Brawl, it leaves much to be desired.
Yeah.
Which is just experience of Brig, I think. But
yeah.
I tend to switch Lucio. and then we get Lucio dive, which is fun.
Yeah. Well, wait, did you say your brig into brawl?
When we're playing, like, we dive and we go.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah.
Play brawl. I just feel like
I do think Lucio dive is really is your best option into brawl on most maps, especially King of the Hill.
Yeah.
I think brig is really tricky into brawl. But Lucio is quite good. Now, okay, so let's actually talk about this, because this is on paper what you ought to be doing. Lifeweaver's not under threat. You've just seen Winston, the main threat to your Lifeweaver, at least right now, diving your Tracer. So you're going to go help the off angle and assist your Tracer and dueling, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is a bad decision.
Yeah.
And I want you to tell me why. I cheated by telling you the answer, but you tell me, well, how did we come to that answer?
Mm-hmm. The Tracer's doesn't really need help. She's not going to kill the Winston.
Okay.
And the Winston's not going to kill her.
There's an answer that's even simpler than that, because you're right. But let me put it this way. If you were here right now, this would be fine.
Yeah.
Problem is this right here.
Oh, I see.
You see this? If you have to reposition to control an off angle, it makes that off angle less attractive. Because the problem is it's not that this is the only thing that's happening. Where else is fights for space happening?
Where the Doom is.
Right here.
Yeah.
So why reposition all the way over here when you could be proactively controlling and affecting and marking and denying space right here? Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
So take because I'm glad that you're being proactive and not sitting on your Lifeweaver. That would be worst case scenario, right? So you're actually taking proactive action to control space. Nice job. It's just the wrong angle. It's just the wrong. It's too far away. So take the one that's a little bit easier. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That being said, this is better than sitting on your Lifeweaver who's under no threat. Nice job. Also, kind of one of those amps where you're like, eh.
Yeah.
So
I did an amp to stop the Tracer from dying, but
yeah. I mean, I get it. But yeah, this is kind of like one of those situations where it's like, I think you would have been better served to hard control, hard mark, and so on from the angle that you had. Now you need to peel because sadly, your team has messed up. But actually, it's kind of funny here. This is a massive mistake here. Do you see it? Watch it.
I leave the Lifeweaver.
You leave the Lifeweaver. I think it's because you're scared.
I think my decision making here was I don't save the Lifeweaver from that. So I just from the Genji and the Winston. So I just try and help the rest of the team kill them all.
Sure, maybe.
But
I think you could have prolonged his death longer and actually maybe killed the Genji, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I don't think it's.
I didn't have confidence in killing the Genji, to be fair.
Sure, but you see, it always comes back to that, It always comes back to I didn't have confidence. I think this is one of those situations where I think because I'm honestly not sure if you would have kept the Lifeweaver alive here, and I'm honestly not sure that if you stayed here that you would have died. I really don't know, but I would have liked to have seen you try. I would have liked to have seen you try, and if it fails miserably, even if you have good mechanics, then you take note of that in your little mental notebook, and then, okay, I need a better, I think I should have gone backline traded here.
Yeah, I see.
But I think it's one of those things where you need to at least try, because the problem with leaving the Lifeweaver is not because the Lifeweaver died. It's actually the same problem with this right here. You have value directly available to you, and instead you spend time traversing across the entire map. So the same thing here. If you had already left your Lifeweaver and were Redditing on the Lifeweaver over here instead, I wouldn't really care, but you're not. You started to peel and then abandoned the peel when there was still peel to be had. So then there's this massive downtime here, right? Where you're not really doing anything. And that's what I'm concerned about.
Okay.
You kind of see what I'm saying? There was quite literally a point in time where there was 10 seconds where you weren't doing anything and then you die anyway.
it's like there's immediate value and there's value.
Yes.
I keep going.
Yes.
I keep ignoring the
Exactly.
value.
It's not that repositioning is bad. It's just that you only want to reposition when you absolutely have to. You want to train your game sense and your game understanding to where you know where you need to be before you're there. And then when you're there, to squeeze every bit of value that you possibly can and then get out alive. And right now, it's a lot of like, oh, I should be there. Oh, I should be there. And running around the map constantly and never really being there when they need you to be there. Like not like you're not there when the Tracer actually got dove. You didn't actually stay around with the Life Weaver here. And so it's always like running around the map like a chicken with your head cut off and never really doing much. Good. Get her out. Go back. Good. Get him out. There's the Winston. There's the Lucio. Now you have a little bit of flexibility here because that Winston's no longer as much of a threat. So then now you have a choice. You could sit with your Life Weaver and Soldier, but I don't think it's necessary. You've seen the cooldowns that you can go in aggressively. So the question is here, do you want to help your Doomfist on this engage on backline, or do you want to go help chase that Genji? And to ask yourself, which one of these is more accessible? The answer is really both, right? Like they're both kind of accessible here. So do whatever you want. Just do it well. Too passive. You see that? Too passive. You saw where your Life Weaver was. You saw where the threats were in the enemy team. It's too passive. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, okay. All right. So you know that, again, you're going to have some space to work with for your Life Weaver, so you don't have to start with him. So let's go, right?
Yeah.
Let's go. Go get over here with your Soldier, right? Go get over here with your Soldier. Go +1 his proactivity. Go help your Tracer. Go help your Doom. You see, this is the worst case scenario here, where your Soldier is getting good early pressure on the dive, and where the frick is his help? You see what I'm saying? That's your responsibility. Yeah, okay. It's just so passive, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you're here, and there's a primal, so stay here. Good. Sure. I'm down for that. I'm also down for that. See, you're doing it again. Look, do you see it? Good beat. You go in on the Life Weaver. Sure. So what should you do?
You stay on the Life Weaver.
Stay on the Life Weaver. Do not second guess your decision. You either need to go back and peel the primal just to make sure, or help your Soldier, or you go kill the Life Weaver. You go to the Life Weaver, and then you leave him. And then this is that downtime again, where it's like you just didn't properly peel, you didn't properly aggress, and you almost die as a result anyway. It's actually kind of why you're dying, is because you're traversing these long spaces. That's moments of vulnerability. This right here is a moment of vulnerability for you. You see that?
Yeah.
That's where you take the majority of your damage, is these moments in transition. It's crazy how much space that you guys actually lost, even though you got a kill or two. Okay. Is all this making sense so far?
Yeah, it feels like one thing I've been doing when I mess around on Ryan is I just ask myself, can they kill me? And if the answer is no, I just charge.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, but it's like, can they kill the Life Weaver? No, do something else.
Right, exactly. Like, where's the space? Where can I be the most benefit right now? Then be there. And be there quickly, so that you don't have to second guess yourself mid-fight and then have to make that awkward long transition where not only are you doing nothing, but you yourself are also vulnerable. Now here comes the Wrecking Ball. Go right now. Find that space where he's going to be. This is just a misread of where you just didn't know where your team is positioned. That's all. Because you're like, oh, and then you're like, wait, hello? Oh.
I went to multiple. I thought you'd come around the back and you went that way.
Well, you probably also thought like your backline was probably like here as well.
Yeah,
so it actually makes no sense for him to go back if you guys are right here. So that's unfortunate. Go. Okay. A little bit of a random amp. It's like one of those panic mid-fight amps where like everybody's just like freaking out, you know. days. Okay, what happened here? He just...
I just got 2 tap back crew.
Yeah, I think so. I'm surprised he was even looking at you. Oh, no, he accidentally hit you with mag grenade.
Oh, no.
I was wondering, like, it felt so unrealistic to me that he would just immediately, when you do, I heard your doom engage, and then you roll out. That's what just happened. Oh my gosh, that's so corny. This felt like such an unearned death. Like, I was like, wow, that's actually really unlucky here. But no, he accidentally hit you with mag grenade. It's like, oh, Lucio. All right, well, there you go. Okay, that's a little unlucky. That's all right. That's all right. Okay, so, oh, wait. Look at me. The ball touches. Okay, so we go further back. You're in aggressive with your tracer. Sure, there's the pull. Stay. And do you notice that you're not second guessing yourself here?
Yeah.
No going back to peel. No, kill the guy. Kill the son of a gun. A little messy with that movement there, but that's okay. Gets the kill, and you're fine. Now find the next target. Go get him. Go get him. Yes. Stay on him. Don't stay on him. Stay on him. Now what's next? Nice. Yeah, nice. Okay. So, patty caking on to what we talked about earlier. What do you think so far? What needs to be practiced? Are there any details or anything that's been cemented? Would you change your opinion after we've watched another round? What do you think?
I think it's not necessarily predicting pressure. Well, that's the thing. It's like there's a lot of downtime of me not doing much. Like it's not finding like the immediate value. I'm thinking
sure.
Like, I keep going for like value that's like gonna happen in like 30 seconds.
Sure.
When there's kind of value that I could get now.
Right.
I'm not because I'm AFK.
Right. I want you to predict exactly where that value is going to be had so that you don't have these long periods of time. And I don't want you to be scared when you go for make these decisions. Even if you make a terrible mistake, we don't care. It's fine. That's how you learn, right? I think that's the key thing. Okay. And then I think like partly a little bit of, predicting where that value is going to be had. Like right now, for example, this is ridiculously passive. Why? First off, they're on Sigma. You didn't know that though, right? Yeah. You predicted dive. Okay, so they're on dive right now. Why is this still too passive?
Because I could just be up front. They can't.
Right. How are they supposed to dive your backline? Right? From what space, what staging ground are they going to be diving your backline? Now, if they were on Ball Sombra, maybe. But I honestly think that's such an unlikely thing that I don't think that this should be your default rollout, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And even then, I think your lifer could live long enough for you to get back there. Yeah. I think this is like a sin by omission, right? Like where you're assuming the absolute worst here, but really there's no reason for you to assume that even if they were on dive, that your lifer is under any threat at all. Yeah. And so because of that, we could look at this and be like, why did Peppermint get her tracer, her recall force, right? She's kind of feeding, but also you need to be here. You need to be here, right? You need to be here. Yeah. And certainly once you see comp, you need to be there. This is going to stress you. This is going to push your limits here. This is going to push your limits because doing what you're doing right now is going to lose you this game, right? Mm-hmm. Not maybe exactly what you're doing right now, but if you don't pivot right freaking now to harassing Reaper May, harassing Weaver, harassing Brig, 2v2ing with your Tracer, finding a way to take an aggressive angle with your Soldier, diving with your Doomfist. If you don't find a way to do that, you're going to lose this game. You're actively losing this game as we're watching. We're watching you actively lose this game. Get in there. You are the dive target now. Like you are not the dive target. You are the dive character. Get in here, boop the Sigma off high, boop the Reaper off high, harass the backline. Do not let everybody on the enemy team focus your Doomfist for free, right? And so this is actually a really great composition to look at because this is a continuation of some of our points that we talked about earlier, right? Oh, of course you peel the Reaper. All right, look at that. Congratulations. Now what? Right? There's the Wraith. There's the quote unquote Winston bubble of the Reaper. So now what?
I think I go Weaver. Yeah.
Thank you. Now what?
I kind of go back to.
Thank you. This is fine. Now I wish that obviously like you'd maybe. You had a little bit of assistance here, but this is good. There it is. Briggs around. Weaver's around. They're wondering why they're not getting support. To be honest with you, I don't even know if you needed to go back.
Probably not. I was worried they were looking at me, but they.
Yeah, that's all right. As long as you didn't ping pong back in, right? You got back out. Go back in. Go. That's unfortunate. See, even this isn't bad, right? Because you're pushing up with your soldier. You're assisting your soldier on the off angle. To be honest with you, your soldier's trolling more than you are, if it makes you feel any better. I don't know why he's standing in front of the Sigma shield, except taking an angle here. Go. Good. Now, go. This is your chance. Yes, but go in the Weaver. Good. Do it again. Good. So I'm gonna be honest with you. There have been you're doing okay.
Yeah.
You're doing okay. The start of this round was so abysmally bad, though, that I think it's worth at least pointing out that you need to keep this in the back of your mind. All right.
Yeah.
I like the proactivity. I like the targets. I like the timing here. There have the times when you've fallen back have all been reasonable. It's not been trolling. It's been okay. Even what you're doing here, very reasonable. I appreciate the timing. I appreciate the target priority, all that kind of stuff. Even the amp speed there to get out of the flux, right? This is definitely one where you could look at this and be like, I did fine. But again, it's that first couple of fights that really concerned me. And that's wasted time. So even though you're playing this one, honestly, pretty good. Doing a pretty good job with it. But if it took you 60 seconds for you to actually do what you ought to do, kind of concerning. Beautiful job. Really, really good work. But yeah, seriously, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. I really appreciate this. You have any questions, by the way?
Not at the moment.
Yeah. The key thing for you is going to be like the proactivity off of somebody else's timing, right? So like, waiting for your Doomfist to take space. This is a little bit unfortunate. This I don't love, just because you struggled so hard to wall climb up, and then your first, as you look around, you need to try to get up on the wall here.
Yeah.
And play, is it risky? Of course it's freaking risky, but your Doom is in. You have to, right? You have to. And I want to remind you also as well that you're not the only one making this mistake. I thought he was on the floor. For a second, I thought he was on the floor. Okay, never mind. We're good. Okay, this is too passive of a position. This is you basically playing the frontline game when you needed to either be +1ing your Tracer on an angle or denying the Mei, denying the Brigitte, abusing your survivability, right? So this is kind of like you've devolved a little bit because of where the position of the fight is.
Yeah.
I think it's because you tell me, is it just because it's on the choke and you're like you don't trust yourself or you're not sure if you just get picked off or what? Because it's tricky.
I think I actually don't know. I can't remember what I was thinking at the time.
Okay.
I think it is just like I'm scared about the angle because I feel if they all look at me, I die.
Yeah, true. So to me, this is where I think you just need to go experiment with this, see what happens.
Yeah.
See if there's an angle that you can take here, especially now that they're not in hit scan. Is this something that I can play if I play my Doomfist timing? Is it better to just go with the Tracer in the flank? Do I have to just kind of play passively and kind of give up space and then just hope that my team doesn't try to stuff the choke? I'm not sure. I don't this is where the line of theory and the way the map actually works, it may diverge a little bit. So you need to at least try it, right? And then obviously we fail on that one as well. And I think that's it. Okay. So let's take some notes. Non-Lucio stuff, general stuff, what needs to be practiced, the stuff we talked about before we even got into the review.
The the practicing in deathmatch rather than quick play.
Try practice incorporating deathmatch again instead of quick play. Setting a timer, practicing mechanics, and jumping into competitive. Obviously, we talked about like some of the things that you struggle with. That I understand that 100%. Right? I struggled with some different forms of competitive anxiety for years. Right? My first 2 years of Overwatch, right, were tough. Right? So, but growing beyond that if possible is great. Okay, what else?
In like intense, like 3 or 4 hours, and then taking breaks.
I'll say even intense 2 to 4 hours, right?
Yeah.
Depending on sleep, scrim schedule, and so on. Okay. With short breaks from computer in queue. And I say in computer so you don't all tab to YouTube. All right. What else? I think those are the big ones, right?
I think so, yeah.
I think so. Okay, so for Lucio specific, by the way, the patch just apparently hit, so perfect timing. Perfect timing, really. Yeah. Okay, Lucio. What about the Lucio stuff?
Like looking for more immediate value and predicting pressure.
More immediate value. That's such a vague statement, though. Be more specific in regards to what? Something that you can actually practice.
I'm feeling like I kept trying to mark the alpha angle, but wasn't positioned on the alpha angle at the time I needed to mark it. Does that make sense?
Think about where your value is most needed right now, given the enemy's position. What do you think about that? Is that easier?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, a lot of, and this is what makes Lucio so hard, is so much of it is just like the theory but like I think you have to at least make it to where you can at least remember it in game. Okay. What else?
Just be less scared.
Less scared.
Like take jewels and push it a bit more, and say like be a bit more confident with like just, I don't want to say inting on someone, but like I think there was a couple of times where I was like, I didn't want to go on him because I feel like he'd just insta kill me, and
yes,
I probably could have.
Yes. I think the big thing is it's like think about it more, like I said in the note there. Think like a scientist. You don't know what's good, so go find out. It's not personal if you die. It's not personal if you die.
When I was looking at it myself, not that game but other games, I felt like my baseline of aggression was too low, but I peaked way too high. Like when I did aggress, I would be by myself in their backline, 1v3ing.
Right.
But then I would spend the entire time in my backline if I wasn't doing that.
Right. That's a good catch. That's a good catch. Okay. What else? Maybe some details here, because those are like the big picture stuff, right?
Probably more
details.
Amp usage.
Okay.
It's a lot of random
Keep an eye on amps in chaotic situations specifically. You were not stupid, but you were stupid in chaos. Most people are. But if you want to be top 500, you need to try to cut down on that a little bit. It's not your amps were bad, but in the heat of the moment, you would sometimes amp when it didn't make a lot of sense. Okay. What else?
Make sure I'm on heal when I should be on heal.
When standing still, be on heal. Usually. Sometimes you want to open the fight with like you're dueling and you're like, I want to open immediately with speed. I don't want to have to reactively swap to speed, but okay. I think those are the main details. I think most of the other stuff is just keep practicing mechanics, Yeah. Was there anything else I'm forgetting?
Not that I can remember.
Okay. I think that's mostly it. All right. Well, do you have any questions?
There's only like the only question that comes to mind is I was remembered of like a Doom mirror game I had. Which sort of fits this is I was unsure whether I should be going with the Doom or like preventing peeling the Doom's dive.
So now you know. Now you know the answer. Is the enemy Doom in a position to threaten your backline? If so, then you have a pretty good argument to where you should be staying with your backline. If the answer is no, then you have a really good argument for you to go in aggressively. If the answer is to yes to both or somewhere in between, then it's up to you.
Okay.
It's up to you. You might even look at the backline and be like, I can't really, that's not really easy backline to dive. Okay, then peel. Or you might look at your backline and be like, we're running Moira.
Yeah.
Then you play a little bit more selfishly. But at least you know what to look for now. Are they in a position to actually threaten my backline? If so, then I can play a little bit more peel oriented. Are they not in position? And it's not just positions too. It's also like the status of like Winston bubble or the status of the Doomfist cooldowns and so on. But yeah, you at least have an idea of what to be looking for. And while there's a lot of things to be looking for, and that in of itself will be overwhelming, at least you're on the path just to get better at that, making that decision, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
None that I can think of at the moment.
Okay. Well, you know the routine. You can message me anytime.